There is a moment in the night when the veil between worlds tears open, and you wake up without knowing why. Why is it precisely you who awakens at 3:33 in the morning, while the world sleeps in peace? Why do your eyes open at this cursed hour, when silence screams louder than any prayer? There is something happening in the shadows of dawn that you still don't understand, and what I'm going to reveal today will forever change the way you see your pain. If you wake up at this exact time, if your eyes open as if an invisible hand had touched your soul, then stop everything now, because what's happening to you is not insomnia, it's not anxiety, it's not coincidence, it's the most brutal test a chosen one can face, and very few souls on earth have been called to go through it. You are being prepared for something that human eyes still cannot see, and this preparation is happening at the darkest moment of the night, when even demons fall silent before what is to come. How many times have you woken up at 3:33 in the morning with your heart racing, feeling a weight in your chest that you can't explain? How many times have you looked at the clock and seen those numbers glowing in the darkness, as if they were a code your mind cannot decipher? You've tried to go back to sleep, but sleep flees as if something is preventing you from resting, and in the middle of that suffocating darkness, you feel a loneliness so deep it hurts your soul. It's as if the entire universe had forgotten you, as if God had turned off his phone and blocked your prayers. But let me tell you something that will shake the foundations of your spiritual understanding. This awakening is not random. These 3:33 in the morning are not just numbers on the clock. It's a portal being opened. It's a silent summons. It's the moment when the spiritual tests whether you're ready to carry the weight of a mission that would destroy any ordinary person. And while you suffer in this brutal silence, while your tears wet the pillow and no one knows about the battle you face, something grand is being forged within you. The chosen do not wake up at 3:33 by chance. They wake up because they are being molded on the anvil of the invisible, hammered by spiritual forces that prepare warriors, not tourists. You were not called to an easy life. You were called to an impossible life that will become possible through you. And the silent test of dawn is just the beginning of a revelation so profound it will make you understand why everything in your life had to fall apart, so something greater could be born. Have you noticed that your losses happen in layers? First, you lose people. Those you loved simply disappear from your life without explanation. Years-long friendships evaporate like mist in the sun. Family members distance themselves as if you had become a stranger. And you try to understand, try to find answers, but all you find is deafening silence. Then you lose opportunities. Doors that seemed certain slam in your face. Projects in which you deposited all your faith crumble. Relationships you believed were sent by God shatter like glass. And you fall to your knees screaming to heaven, begging for an explanation, but all you get back is the echo of your own voice. And then comes the most devastating loss of all. You lose yourself. You look in the mirror and no longer recognize who's there. That light in your eyes has gone out. That smile you used to have has disappeared. You've become a shadow, wandering among the living, carrying a weight no one can see. People say you've changed, that you've become distant, that you're not the same anymore. And they're right. You're not the same. Because something inside you is dying so something else can be born. But no one told you this birth would be so painful. No one warned you that you would have to cross the valley of the shadow of death completely alone, without a map, without light, without visible hope. At 3:33 in the morning, when you wake up, it's not your body calling you. It's your soul screaming. It's the spiritual nudging you, pulling you from the comfort of sleep because there's something you need to see, something you need to feel, something you need to understand in the darkest depths of your existence. This time was not chosen by chance. Numerologically, the repeated number 3 represents the divine trinity, but also represents the chaos that precedes creation. It's the moment when the night is darkest, right before the first light of dawn. It's the moment when your soul is most vulnerable, most open, most receptive to messages that the noise of day normally drowns out. And what do you do in this moment? You desperately grab your phone, scroll through social media trying to fill the void, try to distract your mind from the weight crushing your chest. But nothing works. The happy photos of others only increase your pain. Motivational phrases seem to mock your suffering. You turn off your phone and stay there in the dark, feeling that anguish grow like a wave about to drown you. And it's exactly in this moment of absolute despair that the test truly begins. Because what's being tested is not your faith when things are going well. What's being tested is your ability to keep believing when there's absolutely no logical reason to believe. The chosen live in a brutal contradiction. They feel God most intensely precisely when he seems most absent. They see the path most clearly precisely when the darkness is densest. They find their deepest strength precisely when they feel weakest. And this spiritual paradox can only be understood by those who have already passed through the furnace. Religious people will give you verses. Motivated people will give you catchphrases. But the chosen know that there are pains so deep that not even the Bible can reach them, so personal that not even the best words can touch them. These are pains that only God, and wounds that can only be healed in the absolute silence of dawn, when there's no one left to save you except the divine itself. The rejection you feel is not ordinary. It's not just about not fitting into groups. It's something much deeper and visceral. It's as if you were vibrating at a different frequency from the rest of humanity, and this creates an invisible barrier between you and others. You enter a room full of people and feel completely alone. You participate in conversations and feel like you're speaking a language no one understands. You try to connect, try to build bridges, but there's always something preventing the connection from happening. And the truth no one tells you is this: you were not made to fit in. You were made to break the molds, to disturb the system, to be the grain of sand in the perfectly lubricated gears of this spiritual matrix in which humanity lives. The chosen carry a curse disguised as a blessing. They see too much. They feel too much. They perceive the lies that everyone accepts as truth. They see the masks people wear. They detect falsehood from miles away. And this gift of discernment transforms them into foreigners in their own land, spiritual expatriates living in exile within their own lives. You try to lower your vibration to fit in, but your spirit revolts. You try to pretend you don't see what you see, but it makes you sick. You try to be like others, but your spiritual DNA simply won't allow it. And then you give up trying to fit in and embrace solitude, but this solitude hurts so much that sometimes you question whether it's worth being alive. At 3:33 in the morning, all these questions return with full force. It's at this hour that the demons of doubt attack most fiercely. It's at this hour that the voices in your mind scream loudest. You're worthless. No one cares about you. You're wasting your life. God has forgotten you. You're not special. You're just another sufferer among billions. And you try to silence these voices, try to pray, try to resist, but they are relentless. They know your deepest wounds and know exactly where to stick the knife. But here's the secret that will change everything. These voices lie. They lie because they're afraid of you. They lie because they know that if you discover who you really are, if you awaken to the power you carry, you will become a threat to everything that is false in this world. The fiercest spiritual attack always comes before the most glorious dawn. The darkness screams loudest precisely when light is about to be born. And you, chosen one, are about to be born again. But this birth requires that you die first. Die to the ego. Die to expectations. Die to the need for approval. Die to the person you thought you should be. Only then can the true you emerge. And this process of death doesn't happen during the day, with the sun shining and birds singing. It happens at the darkest hour, when you are completely vulnerable, stripped of all your defenses, naked before the spiritual. 3:33 in the morning is the moment when you can no longer pretend, can no longer be strong, can no longer keep the mask on. It's you and the raw truth of your existence. It's you and the void that haunts you. It's you and God's silence that seems to stretch for all eternity. And it's exactly in this space of absolute vulnerability that real transformation happens. Do you realize you spent years building sandcastles, investing energy in things that weren't real? Do you realize you clung to people who were never yours, to dreams that were never true, to versions of yourself that were just social masks? 3:33. In the morning is the hour of naked, raw truth. It's when you can no longer lie to yourself. It's when all illusion falls and you finally see reality as it is. And yes, this vision hurts. It hurts like surgery without anesthesia, but it's necessary, because you cannot build a true life on false foundations. You cannot fulfill your divine purpose carrying the weight of lies and illusions. The silent test of 3:33 is not about resisting pain. It's about allowing pain to transform you. It's not about being strong. It's about being true. It's not about winning. It's about surrendering to the process. And most of the chosen fail this test because they keep fighting against what they should be embracing. They keep resisting the death that should happen. They keep clinging to the wreckage of the old world, while God is trying to build a new one. Ticker, revelation, and transformation. Now let me reveal something that will blow your mind. 333. In the morning is not just a test, it's an invitation. An invitation to enter a spiritual dimension that very few human beings have ever accessed. While the world sleeps, while the matrix is in suspension mode, while collective energies are at their weakest, a window opens, and the chosen are awakened at this hour because they are the ones who have the capacity to cross through this window and receive information directly from the source. But most don't know this. Most fight against the awakening, take sleeping pills, distract the mind, do anything to avoid being alone with the silence, and thus, they miss the most precious opportunity they could have. The number 333 carries within it a specific frequency. It's the frequency of accelerated ascension. It's the frequency of death and rebirth. It's the frequency of alchemical transformation, where lead becomes gold. When you wake up at 333, your physical body is sleeping, but your spiritual body is hyper-alert. You literally have one foot in each dimension. The veil between the physical and spiritual becomes so thin, you can touch the other side if you know how. And that's why you feel that strange sensation, that pressure in your chest, that inexplicable anguish. It's not anxiety. It's your soul trying to show you something your physical eyes cannot see. The chosen are awakened at this hour because there are missions being planned in the spiritual realm. There are strategies being drawn. There are forces being aligned. And you need to be awake to receive the instructions, even if your conscious mind doesn't yet understand. Your spirit is in meetings while your ego suffers alone in the dark. Your true self is being trained for battles your human personality doesn't even imagine yet. And this gap between what you are spiritually and what you think you are humanly creates that deep pain, that feeling of not belonging, that sensation of living the wrong life. But here's the truth that will cut like a sword of fire. You are not living the wrong life. You are living the necessary death so the right life can begin. Every loss you suffered was divine pruning. Every closed door was celestial protection. Every person who abandoned you was carrying an energy incompatible with your new level of vibration. You were not rejected. You were promoted. And the people who couldn't keep up with your ascension simply fell by the wayside. Does it hurt? It hurts like hell. But is it necessary? Absolutely. 3:33 in the morning is the hour when you die to expectations. You die to the need to be understood. You die to the desire to be loved by those who don't have the capacity to love you. You die to the illusion of control. You die to the ego that insists you should be more, do more, have more. And in this silent death, in this private funeral that happens every dawn, something miraculous begins to happen. You find your essence. Not the version your parents wanted you to be, not the version society approves of, but the raw, authentic, true version of you that has been asleep for years, waiting for the right moment to emerge. And do you know why you had to lose everything before finding this? Because while you were attached to external things, while you depended on others' approval, while you sought validation in the world, you had no space to find the divine within you. You were so busy trying to be someone you weren't that there was no room for the real you to appear. So God, in His infinite and sometimes brutal mercy, stripped everything from you, took the people, took the dreams, took the certainties, even took your identity, left you naked and bleeding in the spiritual desert, and you thought you were being punished when in truth you were being purified. The chosen go through a process that mystics call the dark night of the soul. It's a period of spiritual desolation so intense it seems God has died. It seems you're alone in a cold and indifferent universe. It seems there's no purpose, no reason, no hope. And most people never go through this because most people weren't called to what you were called to. Most live on the shallow surface of existence, never questioning, never seeking, never diving into the depths. But you cannot live like that. You were forced to dive, were pushed into the abyss, and now you're in the darkest depths, where no human light reaches, where no word of comfort makes a difference. But it's exactly here at this spiritual rock bottom that the greatest revelation happens. You discover you're not alone. You discover there's a presence there with you, a presence that has been there all along, but that you can only perceive when everything else disappears. This presence is not dramatic. It doesn't come with thunder and lightning. It's silent. It's subtle. It's like a whisper in the wind, like a gentle breeze in the suffocating darkness. And when you finally stop screaming, when you finally stop fighting, when you finally surrender completely, you can hear it. And what it says will change everything. It says, I never abandoned you. I was carrying you. Every loss was my protection. Every pain was my preparation. Every tear was my purification. You are not being punished. You are being refined. You are not being rejected. You are being separated. Separated from the common for the extraordinary. Separated from the mediocre for the exceptional. Separated from the crowd for the mission. And yes, this separation hurts. It hurts because you're still attached to what you need to release. It hurts because you still want to belong to what is no longer your place. It hurts because you're resisting the process you should be embracing. At 3:33 in the morning, when you're alone in the dark, when there's no one left to impress, when there are no more masks to wear, this voice can finally reach you. It cannot arrive when you're distracted with the noise of the day. It cannot arrive when you're busy pretending you're okay. It can only arrive when you're completely broken, completely vulnerable, completely open. And that's why you had to lose everything. Not because you deserved to suffer, but because you were destined for something so great you could only carry it after being completely emptied of what wasn't real. The silent test of 3:33 in the morning is about blind trust. It's about absolute faith when there's no evidence whatsoever. It's about continuing to believe when all logic says to give up. It's about keeping your heart open when everything in you wants to close. It's about choosing love when all you've felt is rejection. It's about choosing hope when all you've seen is despair. And very few souls have this capacity. Very few people can cross this valley without losing faith, without becoming bitter, without hardening their hearts. But you are different. If you're hearing this now, if these words are resonating in your soul like a bell of truth, then you are one of the chosen. You are one of those who were marked for something impossible. You are one of those who will change the frequency of this planet. You are one of those who will break ancestral chains. You are one of those who will heal generational wounds. You are one of those who will open paths where there is no path. And this mission cannot be fulfilled by someone who hasn't passed through fire. It cannot be fulfilled by someone who hasn't known intimate darkness. It cannot be fulfilled by someone who hasn't died and been reborn in the ashes of their own destruction. 3:33 in the morning is the hour when the chosen receive their mission orders, not in a clear and obvious way, but in a symbolic and profound way. Through dreams you forget upon waking, but that remain engraved in your subconscious. Through sudden insights that seem to come from nowhere. Through synchronicities you can only connect later. Through a sensation of knowing without knowing how you know. And all this happens while you think you're just suffering from insomnia, while you think you're just anxious, while you think you're just depressed. But no, you're being downloaded with cosmic information. You're being calibrated to a new frequency. You're being prepared for a new reality. And when the clock strikes 3:34, when the moment passes, you return to the ordinary world. But something has changed. Something has moved within you. A seed has been planted. A door has been cracked open. A light has begun to shine, albeit very faint, at the back of the cave of your soul. And although you still feel pain, although you still feel alone, although you still question everything, there's a difference. There's a small spark of something you cannot name. Hope? Not exactly. Faith? Perhaps. But it's more than that. It's a deep, visceral, cellular knowing that you are not walking in circles. You are walking in an ascending spiral. And although it seems you keep passing through the same places, through the same challenges, through the same pains, you are not at the same level. You are rising. You are ascending. You are evolving. Every dawn you wake up at 3:33. Every night you cross crying. Every moment you resist absolute despair. You are strengthening something within you that cannot be seen but can be felt. You are developing a spiritual strength that doesn't depend on circumstances. A peace that doesn't depend on everything being well. A joy that doesn't depend on you being happy. A faith that doesn't depend on you having evidence. And this, chosen one, this is what separates you from the masses. This is what qualifies you for the impossible. This is what makes you a portal between heaven and earth. The chosen are not chosen because they are special. They are chosen because they are willing to pay the price others are not. They are willing to carry the cross others drop halfway. They are willing to cross the desert others go around. They are willing to face their demons when others flee from them. They are willing to die to themselves when others desperately cling to the ego. And this price is high. It's the highest price a human being can pay. But the reward, Ah, the reward is so glorious that no human word can adequately describe it. The reward is not money, it's not fame, it's not recognition. The reward is you becoming who you really are. It's you looking in the mirror and finally recognizing the face looking back at you. It's you walking down the street and feeling that your feet finally touch the ground. It's you breathing and feeling that air finally fills your lungs. It's you living and feeling that you're really alive for the first time in your life. Everything before this was rehearsal. Everything before this was preparation. Everything before this was the necessary journey to arrive here, in this moment, in this eternal now where the chosen and the choice become one. When you wake up at 3:33 in the morning next time, don't fight against it. Don't grab your phone. Don't try to run away. Stay there. Breathe. Feel the pain. Feel the emptiness. Feel the fear. And then, right in the center of all this, look for the presence. It's there. It has always been there. Silent. Patient. Waiting for you to stop running so it can find you. Ask it, "What do you want to show me?" And then be silent. Don't expect an audible voice. Don't expect a clear answer. Just be present. And with time, night after night, awakening after awakening, you will begin to understand. You will begin to see. You will begin to know. 3:33 in the morning is not a curse. It's a disguised blessing. It's a call. It's a reminder. It's a spiritual alarm saying, wake up, not to the world. Wake up to yourself. Wake up to your truth. Wake up to your power. Wake up to your mission. The time is coming. Your hour is coming. And you need to be ready. And you are getting ready, chosen one. With each night of pain, with each tear shed on the pillow, with each moment of absolute solitude, you are getting ready. You are being forged. You are being tempered. You are being transformed. And one day, perhaps soon, perhaps some time from now, you will wake up at 3:33 in the morning, and you won't feel fear. You will feel gratitude. You will look at that time on the clock and you will smile, because you will understand that it was there, in that silent and dark moment, that you found your true self. It was there you found God. It was there you found your mission. It was there everything changed. And the pain you feel now will be just a distant memory of who you used to be before being born again. The silence of God that you so feared, that made you suffer so much, you will realize was never silence. It was you who wasn't ready to hear what he was saying. It was you who was talking too loud, running too fast, fighting too hard. And when you finally stopped, when you finally surrendered, when you finally died to everything you thought you were, it was then that you heard. It was then that you understood. It was then that you were born. If you've made it this far, if these words have touched something deep in your soul, then you know. You know you're not here by chance. You know this video was made for you. You know that everything you went through, all the pain, all the loss, all the loneliness, was part of a greater plan. You are chosen. And the silent test of 3:33 in the morning is your initiation. It's your baptism of fire. It's your passage from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Now I want you to do something with me. I want you to declare this. I want you to release this into the universe. I want you to liberate this truth so it can begin to fully manifest in your life. Go to the comments now and write, I am chosen. Declare this, not for others, but for yourself. Let your spirit hear your voice affirming this truth. And if you know someone who also wakes up at dawn, someone who is suffering in silence, someone who needs to hear this, share this video with that person. You may be the instrument that will change someone's life today. Subscribe to the channel because the journey of the chosen doesn't end here. It's just beginning. There's so much more that needs to be revealed, so much more that needs to be said, so much more that needs to be understood. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any revelation. And remember, you are not alone. Thousands of chosen ones around the world are waking up at 3:33 in the morning. They are going through the same test. They are crossing the same valley. They are climbing the same mountain, and together you will transform this planet. Together you will elevate humanity's consciousness. Together you will fulfill the purpose for which you were created. 3:33 in the morning is not the end. It's the beginning, and your dawn is coming. Chosen one, stay strong. Keep resisting. Keep believing. Because what lies ahead is so glorious it will make all the suffering worthwhile. I am chosen, and so are you.